Hey guys, welcome to a special late night episode of Care Dangerous Talk. Hours ago, the first NBA player to actually step out and seem to show some support for Kyrie Irving's situation, okay, was Boston Celtics forward Jaylen Brown, who also happens to be the vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. Now, many people have been waiting to hear from the association. They've been waiting to hear from the executive director, and it's a female. I'm gonna show you a picture of her very soon. But I just want to say this show tonight, it's gonna be about your thoughts and what I'm seeing out here on social media, the people's voice and how you guys feel about Kyrie Irving being labeled as anti-Semitic because people are speaking. I mean, I haven't seen so many people just post Bible verses, so many people talk about history, so many people express their opinions about religion, and it's just been, I don't know what side of this discussion you're on, but it's been an amazing thing to see. Now, this episode is titled My Brother's Keeper, and I have a lot to unpack. So let me just say this, bear with me. But I just want to go ahead and give you guys a trigger warning because anybody who's sensitive to hearing about hot topics, debates, history, religion, if those kind of things bother you, hearing about things that people have to say about this issue, then I would advise you to turn away right now. But again, Jalen Brown, forward on the Boston Celtics, is the first one in the NBA to really show a little bit of support to Kyrie Irving. So I'm going to go to the intro and then we'll get into this hot topic. But All right. So we're not going to start all the way in the beginning. We're not going to go all the way into that. If you missed the beginning of how this situation started, you can check out my first video I did days ago about Kyrie Irving. As you know, he has been suspended 5 games from the Brooklyn Nets. I don't even know what day we're on, but everybody has been waiting to see if Kyrie will retire or will he actually submit himself and do these things that he's been asked to do by the NBA commissioner. But first of all, let me go back to a statement that Kyrie made, which was an apology, but according to NBA commissioner Adam Silver, it wasn't good enough for him. Kyrie and the Nets were going to put up $500,000 to charities. I have to get the name of the organization they were sending the money to, but they were told that that wasn't good enough. But let's go to that quote that Kyrie made. Right here it says, I oppose all forms of hatred and oppression and stand strong with communities that are marginalized and impacted every day. The 30-year-old Irvin wrote in the statement. Irvin also said he was aware of the negative impact of my post towards the Jewish community, and I take responsibility. I do not believe everything said in the documentary was true or reflects my morals and principles. Now, let's just go back so I can remind you of the documentary we're actually talking about here, which is Hebrews to Negroes Wake Up Black America by Ronald Dalton Jr. And here's another cover of that book right here. So, a lot of Jews felt like this film was anti Semitic. We saw a lot of popular sports analysts and anchors go on the air these last couple of days and kind of plead with Kyrie Irving to apologize and to do whatever he needed to do to get back in good standing. I think what we're seeing from a lot of brown people, black people, is that when it came to the statements that Kanye West also made, whether people agreed with him or they didn't agree, I think so many brown people, black people, were just proud to see that a black man would make a statement and stand on it, because so many times in this atmosphere, black people are afraid to speak because of the repercussions, because of these, as you can see, these endorsement deals will be taken away. Things will be taken away from you. And, Kanye has lost so many deals. Whether he wanted to lose some of those deals or not, they're gone. Kyrie has lost his Nike endorsement. Now, Nike looks at what Kyrie has done when he posted this link from Amazon of this documentary. They call it hate speech. Now, last year, Kyrie made $11 million from his Nike deal. $11 million. And he has a very popular signature shoe. Now, before I get into what Jaylen Brown said, because that is breaking news, okay? I want to just go back and play for you what Kyrie said leading up to him apologizing. Well, the apology that, his bosses deemed wasn't good enough. Because I feel like this response is really one of the reasons why they didn't accept his apology. So here we go, right here with the first clip.
Surprised that I did hurt people.
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can ask a better question. It's just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid, learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here, and why when I repeat myself that I'm not going to stand down, it has nothing to do with dismissing any other race or group of people.
Now, say what you want, but when is the last time you heard a black man get on TV or be in an interview and say anything like that? I mean, besides the usual suspects. We're not talking about Dr. Umar. We're not talking about Tyreek. We're talking about a basketball player. I mean, I just said Jaylen Brown was the first one to show some support. So that ought to tell you something. Let's go to the second part of that clip.
I'm just proud of my heritage and what we've been through. And the fact that this has pinned me against the Jewish community. And I'm here answering questions of whether or not I'm sorry or not on something I didn't create. Surprised that I did hurt.
Okay, so there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to what Jaylen Brown has said. Jaylen Brown, I got this actually from CBS Sports. He was asked some questions by the Boston Globe after a game, prior to the game versus the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday. Jaylen Brown said, "I don't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic. I don't think people in our governing bodies think he's anti-Semitic. He made a mistake. We understand from an outside perspective how important sensitivity is to not condone hate speech and not condone anything of that nature. It's sensitivity to the dialect around that. We don't want to stand up for somebody in order to not condemn hate speech. But I don't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic, and hopefully the NBA feels the same way." Okay, first statement right there, okay? Second statement by Jaylen. There is an interesting distinction between what somebody says verbally and what somebody posts as a link on a platform with no description behind it. Brown said, "Some people will argue there's no difference, and some people will argue there is a difference. There's no language in our CBA. There's no rules against it. This is uncharted territory for everybody, and everybody is trying to figure out the difference between the two." I think this quote is the most important when Jaylen points out that there are no rules against it. There are no language against what Kyrie Irving did in their CBA. So that's going to be important to note right there. Jalen goes on to say the terms for his return, they seem like a lot, and a lot of the players expressed discomfort with the terms. Now, the last quote I have here by Jalen is, he made a mistake. He posted something. There was no distinction. Maybe we can move forward, but the terms in which he has to fulfill to return, I think not just speaking for me, speaking as a vice president from a lot of our players, we didn't agree with the terms that was required for him to come back, and we're waiting for this Tuesday meeting to happen to see what comes of it. But we'll go from there. That's all I'll say. Jaylen Brown, Vice President of the National Basketball Players Association. Well, you may be asking yourself, well, if Jalen is the vice president, who is the president? I mean, I had no idea. It was CJ McCollum. Now, CJ McCollum is on New Orleans, as far as I know. I don't really follow his career, but at first he made a statement, and let me bring this statement up for so I can just read it to you. McCollum said, "We condemn anti-Semitism in any form. You have to be careful about what you post. You have to know exactly what it is." But apparently, CJ has had a bit of a change. He's now saying that he has to think some things over. So I guess we'll have to just keep following that situation. But I think what I would like for people to think about here is, because I see so many people saying that they're proud of Kyrie. I mean, there are plenty of people on another side, and they don't agree with Kyrie at all. Okay, I mean, I must say that. But for the people who agree, and for the people who are disappointed and seeing a lack of support from Kyrie, I have to ask you, when I think about people like Harriet Tubman and plenty of our ancestors, how many of you would be able to stand up and stick to your convictions? How many of you would be able to stick by your beliefs? Would you be able to be in the hot seat? You really have to ask yourself that, because it may be a time where you have to do that. It may be a time where you have to do that. So ask yourself that. And then for the people who call themselves freedom fighters, and for the people that you guys want to support, are you really there supporting them when their back gets up against the wall? These people who take these risks, the people that you agree with, even when there's a large amount of people who are against you, are you going to be there to help hold these people up? Because let me tell you something. On Twitter, on Facebook, I know on Facebook, there's 24K posts trending about boycotting the NBA. But it's so many people that don't even want to stop watching the NBA, don't want to give up a few games. Now, it was a lot of people mad because they felt like this particular community that's being called out has stopped endorsement deals, has went against Kyrie, has went against Kanye, but they have been in unity to do those things. But if Black people cannot sit together and just stop watching a few games, how do you expect to get anywhere? And I also have to bring up this point as well. So many times, we talk about we need to be unified, we need to be unified. And then we have to say, what is the solution? Why don't we unify? Well, I was thinking about this the last couple of days, and I said to myself, one of our problems is, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is that I remember when I had on the scholar, Resma Menakem, and he was talking about collective trauma and individual trauma. We all have our own individual trauma, but it gets difficult when we start talking about collective trauma, because we all have to be on a certain same wavelength, a same frequency. But if we don't take care of ourselves individually, then it makes that collective consciousness harder to achieve, is what I'm trying to get at. So when dealing within our own families, we must start to heal. We must start to unite our families. I don't want to necessarily say before we can unite as a whole, but I mean, if you think about it, we must be able to have some kind of healing within ourselves in order to even think about the ideal of us being together as a whole. So many of us have people in our families who are on drugs, who have mental issues, and so many people throw these people to the side. We must start back bringing in these people and trying to love on them and care for them the best possible and fix these little problems in our families, and really get back to loving each other in our own homes. And I've seen so many good videos online that I'm gonna play for you guys during this episode because it's needed. And right now, I'm gonna play your young lady. I don't know who she is, but when I saw this video, I said I gotta play it for you tonight, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Why is black women one separate entity and black men are another separate entity? That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how any other race operates, but we're the only ones who operate like that and think it's functional. You feel me? I've said it before. Why do we get the label of strong, independent black woman? We don't hear that from nobody else. I've never heard strong, independent white woman, strong, independent Asian woman, strong, independent Latino woman, strong, independent Indian woman. I ain't never heard none of that. But we pride ourselves to being strong, independent black women, as if independence is something that we should strive for as a people. Independence is death. Everybody needs somebody. And the reason why we're struggling in our households and our communities is because we think that there's something good about being independent. Black women need black men, and black men need black women.
Amen to that. Knight Rider says it's called sacrifice. Stop watching the NBA and withhold those black dollars. Buy only necessities and buy black when possible. Queen of 10,000 says facts. Now, I just want to point out some facts to you guys that, Kyrie actually lost closer to 200 million for not getting the shot. And I want you to read between the lines because this platform will remove videos when you say certain trigger words. So if you know what I mean when I say the shot, he lost close to 200 million. Now, it's a lot of people who want a lot of the blame to go on to Amazon and Jeff Bezos. But Jeff Bezos, I hear he's trying to buy a sports team, I believe the Commanders. So he's into the sports thing. So, I don't think they're really gonna touch him. And I gotta say, it's kind of a slippery slope because when we start talking about people who platforms who publish books and publishers, we got to be careful because I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but there's something called book bans going all around the country. And this is very important. Books that our children need to have access to are being banned. And that's scary to me. Everyone's talking about freedom of speech. And before I just get into this little note about the book ban, I just want to say we have to keep in mind, okay, we have freedom of speech to a certain extent. And when you go on these people jobs, as you know, each job have their own company rules and guidelines. And when you step out of that, there are certain consequences that you have to face. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you what the law is, okay? Because that's what's going on right now. Now, I just want to give you a fact about this book ban. January to August 2002, the ALA, okay? The ALA found 681 attempts to ban or restrict library resources, which targeted 1,651 unique titles. Banned books have increased since last year when they reached an all-time high. And you may be asking yourself, what kind of books are they banning? Well, from the facts that I was able to find, they're banning a lot of books about the LGBTQ. You may not care about that, you may do, but they also are banning a lot of books about black and brown people, minorities. So they don't want the children to get this information. So when they truly say, if you want to hide it from a black person, put it in the book, well, guys, you won't even be able to find the book soon, okay? Because they taking the books away from you. And just to give you a face to who the National Basketball Players Association executive director is, it's actually a female. It's funny enough because a lot of the people who have been called raccoons in the past have really been making some great points. We're living in a twilight type of time where some of the people you would expect to speak out about different things they don't. Or I guess some of the people you think will make sense to us are not making sense. But I know I heard Jason Whitlock say that he's been looking for this lady to speak out, and she hasn't really said anything. And he's also said he doesn't understand why Tamika, how you say her last name, Tamika, this executive director of the Players Association, why is a female over the sport? I mean, you can feel how you feel. Some people, I know, females like to say, we want to be in this job, and it doesn't matter if it's male or female. But I could think Jason Whitlock's point was, it's a league full of men. How does she understand what they are going through? But I tell you what, we certainly are going to be paying attention to what Miss Tamika and what McCollum and what Jalen come up with now that we have heard someone actually speak out from the association. Let's just go to James Baldwin real quick. I wanna read this quote. To be African American is to be African without any memory and American without any privilege. Just let that soak into you. To be African American is to be African without any memory and American without any privilege. You know, it's hard, when you think about some of the things people have done. When I say the word raccooning, I use it as a verb and read between the lines, because a person, like a wrong clock can be wrong all the time, or however that saying goes. Sometimes people are raccoons and sometimes they not. Sometimes they make good points. But I have to tell you right now, a lot of people are really, really disappointed in LeBron James. And he's never been called a raccoon before too much by a lot of black people. But now you're hearing it, because people were assuming that he would look at Kyrie as a brother. People assumed, and you know what assuming makes you, right? Well, people assumed that he would support and stand up by Kyrie. And I don't think it's just because Kyrie helped him win a championship in Cleveland. I I think it's because LeBron has been someone who has seamlessly, spoken out by wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt. I mean, now we know that BLM was a scam and they were using money to, do this and do that or whatever. But people thought he was an advocate, and now that he didn't come out and speak the way that he should have in a lot of people's eyes, they don't like it. So let me show you what he said. And I posted this on my Instagram. So if you want to join the conversation, I have a great conversation on my Instagram. If you go to Care Dangerous Talk on Instagram, and go ahead and join that conversation in under this post. But this is what LeBron James said about Kyrie Irving tweeting out the H2N documentary. He said, I don't condone any hate to any kind, any race, to Jewish, Black, Asian communities. What Kyrie did caused some harm to a lot of people. I don't stand on the position to harm people. I don't respect it. Well, now people don't respect you, LeBron, and maybe he doesn't care. But a lot of people feel that now that LeBron is in that billionaire zone, he doesn't want to lose his money, whereas before the people were important to him. And if a person is going to call themselves king, then who's the most important people to him, or who do they make us feel like is the most important people to them? Their people, the king's people are his most important people to him, right? But we're not getting that. Look at what somebody posted on Twitter, because I told you this show is all about you guys. They said that he's not going to stand up for Kyrie because these are the people he stands up for. And it's no video, it's no audio to this video. I mean, but you don't need it, do you? You don't need it. Well, there you go. Again, all over social media, people are disappointed with LeBron. As we see right here, someone said, liar. LeBron James has lied 484 times during media press conferences in his career, most all time. You guys are crazy. While we're here, make sure you go ahead and like this video and leave me some comments. Oh, and thank you so much, Night Rider. Yeah, that's the saying right there. A broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. Thank you so much. Sometimes I have a brain fart. I can't lie about that. Okay. And also, people are also upset because they feel like immediately once LeBron started getting the heat in the comments about not supporting Kyrie, he went to posting I guess some kind of post Halloween outfit. Oh no, I guess it was just some tribute to Takeoff because LeBron made a statement saying he was one of the first people to listen to Migos before they were known, and he was in the locker room and the guys were telling him to turn it down, but all his fans, well, his former fans called BS on it. Okay, and I saw people post LeBron James dressed up as Takeoff, and as you see right here, this is from the Shade Room, and in LeBron quotes it says, if you know me any, then you know how much I love Takeoff. Still doesn't feel real to me. But like I said, a lot of the fans feel like he just did this to get off of black people's minds that he didn't support Kyrie. Now, maybe in the past you could, sway our attention, but not right now. People are really upset about this. If you go on LeBron's IG, people are really going on in on him. I seen people post underneath his post, hashtag la bitch, hashtag la weak, saying he'll never be MJ, saying that you really disappointed me. Look at these comments right here. You see, someone said, you a sellout. I don't even F with you anymore. Someone said, LeBron is all about attention. Now we know he's not a playoff contender anymore. He's just worried about the scoring title and using Takeoff's death like a lot of celebrities do when someone died and likes. And you threw Kyrie down the drain to save face with the white media. You take a big L. And then somebody else said, ain't have to do Kyrie like that. It's expected though. Let me know in the comments if you feel like it's wrong to come at LeBron James. Okay. Do you feel like we shouldn't expect things from athletes and celebrities? I mean, it's kind of funny because the celebrities don't mind telling you to vote Democrat or Republican, but when it comes to something serious about their race, they don't want to speak up. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Why is that? And where did it come from anyway, these last couple of years, where it just seems like people are getting paid to tell us to go vote? I mean, I think sometimes people forget with black people. Our people didn't just fight for the right to vote. They make it seem like it's something that you just have to do. The thing is, our people fought for you to make the choice on whether or not you wanted to vote. It's your choice. You shouldn't be bullied. You shouldn't be bullied. And then ask yourself, who has helped you in this world anyway? If you can name a president that has helped you, please let me know in the comments. Let's go to Twitter, shall we? People are saying about LeBron James. LeBron James is a generational liar. I get it. He had a mic in his face since he was 16 and feels a need to give a good quote. So he says what you want to hear, but can we at least keep track of them on his basketball reference? I like to revisit some highlights. People go on, this guy went on to say, number one, these are quotes that he says LeBron has said as a lie. I knew Kobe would score 81. I knew Migos were next. Malcolm X, great book. My favorite Godfather scene. Number 5, shocking trade. Sad to see him go. Hard on LeBron. You guys let me know. Does it matter what a person has done in the past if they can't stand up for something that their people feel is important in the moment? I don't know. You let me know. But while we're talking about should we stand with LeBron or not, okay? Because a lot of people are calling him a turncoat. let me go right here. A few of Kyrie's contributions over the last year, since everyone's making it like this guy is such a bad person. Kyrie donated $323,000 to Feeding America. He partnered with City Harvest to ensure 250,000 meals were distributed to New Yorkers. He partnered with Nike to donate 17 pallets of food and masks to the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. He committed 1.5 million to help pay WNBA players who opted out of the 2020 season. Haven't heard a peep from any of the WNBA players, even though he helped pay their salary and they don't even get paid much. Okay, he paid off the college tuition of 9 HBCU students from Lincoln University. He purchased a house for the family of George Floyd, excuse me. Now, before I go to another video, I just want to show you this fake photo of LeBron, because when I saw this, I said to myself, I know good well this boy didn't, not boy, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say boy because, you know, that's a bad term for us. But I know good well LeBron didn't wear this. It says, we march, y'all mad. We sit down, y'all mad. We speak up, y'all mad. We die, y'all silent. Because, like, you did not speak up. So you can't be wearing this shirt. But obviously, this was a fake shirt, so I'm going to excuse it. And also, you know what? Let me show you this, because what made it funny enough that I don't know if LeBron reads his comments or not, but if you know that people are saying that they're disappointed in you for not showing brotherhood for Kyrie, not standing up for him. LeBron posted this to his IG story last night. He put my brother and he tagged Kevin Love. Now, if you feel like LeBron was already wrong, this has got to be pretty insulting, don't you think? This is pretty insulting. And it makes you think, what would happen if people like Steph Curry would speak and LeBron James at the same time? That would be crazy, but you know that'll never happen. So let's go to those terms that you've been hearing about, because these terms are what had people on fire. These terms are what had people calling the NBA a plantation. These terms are what had people saying that Kyrie Irving was being publicly lynched. This is modern day. This is a modern day lynching. These terms right here by the reporter, NBA reporter Shams. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. I don't know it. I'm not going to slaughter it. But the sources here said the Nets have delivered Kyrie Irving 6 items he must complete to return to the Brooklyn Nets team. Number 1, apologize, condemn movie. Okay, he apologized. They said it wasn't good enough. Okay, $500K donation to anti-hate causes. I told you in the beginning that Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets were said to donate $500,000 to anti-hate groups last Wednesday in a joint statement along with the anti-defamation league. Okay, he's also is expected, if he wants to return, to have sensitivity training. I don't know what that is. He's also able to have anti-Semitic training. He's also to meet with ADL Jewish leaders. He's also to meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate understanding. If you watch my last video, you'll know, if you don't know, that Joe Tsai is the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, who people say sent money to China to help get rid of the Muslims there. And so, but that was swept under the rug. I'm just giving you the facts. That's all. Now, because people feel like these are people feel like these are harsh terms. They're making their own memes about it. And so this is a meme right here I found that people made up their own terms for Kyrie, because a lot of people feel like it's just ridiculous. If he already apologized and then you tell him that the apology isn't good enough, I mean, come on. So right here we have, it says, just in, the Nets have amended the list of demands for Kyrie Irving. Number 1, admit that Taylor Swift's remake of September was way better than Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh, that's a tough one. To acknowledge Scarlett Johansson as the baddest chick. I think KD did, Kevin Durant. Not this KD, but Kevin Durant said he would drink her bath water, but that's another topic. Number 3, add raisins to potato salad. Oh my goodness. Number 4, change his name to Toby. I think they're in the process of trying to do that right now. Number 5, watch the entire box set of Friends. Hey guys, I like Friends. I mean, I'm sorry. Number 6, intern as a roadie for the Nickelback tour. Ouch. And number 7, call Vanilla Ice the king of rap. Okay, so that's what you guys are saying out there, okay? And I'm just sharing it to you. And I'm seeing people post things like this. And we seen people like Kaepernick compare the NFL um to a slave auction, and now we have people comparing the NBA to a plantation. Has anybody heard from Kaepernick? I mean, maybe I forgot to go to his page. Has Kaepernick said anything? I haven't. I haven't seen. I don't understand. I mean, Nas wrote songs about people cutting off the noses off Egyptian faces, statues, and tombs, and these people who know all this information, you don't hear a peep from them. But okay, they're out here making money. But let me get to it, because I told you guys I've been scouring the internet to find things for you guys to look at. And you know what? Before I get into this other video, I just want to show you that, some of the people who felt hurt by Kyrie posting this came to the Nets game, before he was suspended, and wore shirts saying, don't be anti-Semitic. And Kyrie actually came over and spoke to them. So let me see if I can find a photo of that. Actually, here we go, right here. Okay, so it's a fight anti-Semitism. Okay, right there in the front row. Those seats cost a lot of money, by the way, to sit on that lower row. But they were there as a protest. Okay. And here's a video that I found on YouTube Shorts to go along with this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyrie.
Thank you, Kyrie. Thank you. You guys do. You have to. Thanks, Kyrie.
Okay, well, they don't seem to be too angry with Kyrie right there. If I don't think that I would speak to somebody that, I mean, that's one little segment of people. And I have to say, if we go back to this film, I haven't watched it, but I know why people are upset, because I've heard enough information about it, and it's not my first time around this history block. I've heard these ideas before. I've had scholars on these show. I had theologians on this show, so I'm very much aware of what I know to have been said, and I can pick out the parts that folks have found offensive. But I want to play you a video of a young lady. And I think she kind of pinpoints why this posting of this H2N film has ruffled so many feathers. We're gonna go to part 1 of that, and we'll come back.
A lot of y'all did not understand why some of us was coming to Kanye West or Ye's defense when they labeled him anti-Semitic. But now that they're coming after Kyrie Irving, y'all are starting to say, well, wait a minute, why are all these black men being labeled anti-Semitic? And especially when they're speaking up on truth or sharing their opinion. Because we are not going to give them the benefit of being labeled something that they are not. These are white Europeans who just so happen to be Jews, who have no relation to being Semitic at all, who own the media and the entertainment industry.
Okay, so that's what she said. Okay, that's what this young lady said. I didn't say that; she said it. And I want to just, before I go to part 2 of that video, now Sarah Silverman is a well-known Jewish comedian. Okay, she used to date not is it Jimmy Kimmel? I don't want to get them mixed up with the other guy that was on SNL. But anyway, she was known for wearing this blackface in the past. But if you read this tweet right here, it says Sarah Silverman was quick to talk about Kanye and his anti-Semitism. Funny she wasn't canceled and didn't have to cough up any money to black groups like Kyrie Irving did. And I just want to bring this up because this is another reason why black people feel a certain way, because it's like we're constantly getting bombarded with slave movies. We can never see movies about heritage other than us being abused and beat and traumatized. And no one ever speaks out about that, and the fact that nobody ever wants to produce something that we can actually sit there and be proud of. Now, don't get me wrong, movies like Roots had their place, and for people who are ignorant and think everything is glorious, they do need to see these kind of films. But definitely there needs to be a variety, and just like we have many books, well, right now we do, we need different sources to educate people on. But of course, if a people only have are only able to see themselves as slaves, then that's a problem. And again, people feel like they're treating Kyrie like he's Toby, and that's just not right. Let's go to part two of this young lady kind of breaking down what she feels is the reason why Kyrie and Kanye have taken so much heat, whether you agree with them or not.
They weaponize the label of anti-Semitic against black men as a way to say, one, stay in your place, and two, to deflect from anyone finding out the truth or even having a discussion as to why they have so much control and power and influence and why they use it to do so many bad things. Kyrie Irving posts a documentary to his story that says, "From Negroes to Hebrews, wake up Black America," and these so-called Jews call him anti-Semitic. But see, what's really happening is your anti-blackness is being exposed, because why don't you want black people to wake up? See, because once black people wake up and understand that we are the true children of Israel, and we understand how we got into this condition and who was a part of putting us in this condition, then the mask that you guys are hiding behind has to come off.
So I'm just thinking that this is what part of the movie is about. So why isn't this being a debate, or why isn't this kind of information being I don't understand why these questions aren't being answered by a group. Like, let's get together and have a communication and talk about this. I don't understand why one set of people's history has to be denied for another people to feel comfortable, and you have to be silent. I don't understand that. Part three.
Y'all remember how they handled Nick Cannon when he said that black people were the true Hebrews, and how he aligned himself with Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? We'll get to that. They tried to take away his shows and take away his money, but see, they're trying to do the same thing with Ye, but Ye's not going for that. They've done it to many other black men, to Malcolm X, to W.E.B. Du Bois, to Marcus Garvey, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, all of whom tried to unite black people and advance black people economically. They labeled Martin Luther King Jr. anti-Semitic only after he started to tell black people to boycott and economically withdraw from them.
While it's on my mind, and I hope you enjoyed her. If you was able to catch her name, you can follow her on Instagram. And I just want to show her because she kind of wrapped up in a bow, kind of the feelings about this documentary, and why probably so many people have a problem with it. And so that's why I want to share it with you guys. But I want to just note, because you may not be aware, and I wasn't aware, okay, that Jalen was actually, I believe, the first NBA player to have signed with Kanye's Donda Sports when it first started. So yes, here it is right here. In June 2022, Jalen became the first NBA player to sign with Kanye West's Donda Sports. So maybe maybe he knows Kyrie. Well, Kyrie played with him on the Celtics for a while there. And so maybe he has an understanding of how Kanye's brain works and how Kyrie brain works. And he knows them as people, and he knows the true essence of them and their motivation and what they're really trying to get across. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I mean, I know that. I believe was it Aaron Donald has moved away from Donda Sports, and the Kanye has to close his school now. He was helping the children, but now because of the statement he's made, he's having to stop helping those children. Now, like I told you, sometimes that raccooning word is used as a verb. Well, when I use it, because people aren't doing it all the time. Like, you can agree with somebody on one issue and not agree with them on another. That doesn't mean they're not wise in another topic. Okay. I have to just tell you, sometimes Candace Owen, it hits the nail on the head. And so does Jason Whitlock. I mean, some of those people who analyze things and are talking heads out here, who you would think who always come off like they're for Black people, and they always are put out there. And I really think they're really used to distract us, and they're put out here for us to feel like they're on our side. And I'm not saying that just because I agree with Candace Owen on one thing, like I'm her fan or anything like that, but she's not wrong all the time. And so I just want to show you a tweet right here. She said, Kyrie Irving should not give a single red cent to the ADL. Like BLM, they are part and parcel of a humiliation. Sorry, guys, gotta help me tonight. Ritual demanding donations for social forgiveness. So she feels like he shouldn't have to give a red cent, that this is something they're doing to humiliate him, embarrass him, make him look a certain way. She also tweeted out something about LeBron. I'm going to go to that as well. She said, pleased to see that a lot of people in Black America are waking up to what LeBron James is, anything but a king. Nike is a core plantation. Okay, fancy with the words. I see what you did there. Which is built on the backs of slaves in China and sustained by slave athletes in America. And Sean S here, who's coming through on YouTube. And thank you for everybody who's joining me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure you go ahead and like this video, please. Thumbs up, thumbs up. That helps to get this video out to other people and beat this algorithm. And also leave me some comments, and please leave me great comments and let me know what you think about this topic and what your feelings are about these people. Sean S says, a young Black boy was killed at LeBron's school and there was no outrage. And then she also kind of agrees with me, and she says Candace's YouTube video on Kyrie tonight was pretty good. All right, thank you guys for being here with me. And also, while I'm here, if you want to donate to Kara Dangerous Talk Show, which it will be very helpful, you can send me a cash app at Kara Dangerous, $ Kara Dangerous. You'll see my picture. Let me see if I have any other videos to play for you here. Yes, I actually do. And you might have seen this already, but I have to show it because Mayweather has been everywhere, just doing things maybe you didn't expect him to do. But first we hear Mayweather from Will Smith when he threw his premiere for his movie, a slave movie, I believe. Even though I'm sick of those. But Mayweather was apparently one of the people who called Will Smith after the Chris Rock slap and checked on him every single day to make sure he was okay. And apparently that meant a lot to Will Smith. So Mayweather is stepping in and showing support for brothers when they have taken a beating in front of the public eye. So he also made a video where he wanted to express some respect and love for Kyrie Irving. I'm going to play that to you now.
When you represented the red, white, and blue, you only want to be treated fair. I was going to post something on one of my social media pages, but I decided to do it the old school way and read it out to you because you're a great person, great father, great athlete, and you believe what you believe. America is the land of the free. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and supposedly freedom to choose. Never be controlled by money. I respect you for having some integrity and being your own man. A free mind makes his own choices, and a enslaved mind follows the crowd. Stand for something or fall for anything. One man can lead a revolution to stand up and fight for what's right. one choice, one word, one action can change the world. It's crazy how people hate you for being a leader. I hope your actions encourage many others to stand up and say enough is enough. Respect to you, Kyrie.
All right. Well, there you go. So again, before we get out of here, I want you to ask yourself, would you stand up for your people? Because you remember, Harriet had to leave so many people behind. Because see, so many of us have been conditioned to feel like we have made it because we have money, we have more resources, but we're still in this same game, okay? And do not turn a blind eye to things that are going on around you. And I'm not talking about this topic that we came here for necessarily. I'm just talking about a lot of things in life, because at some point in your life you may have to choose whether you will stand up for what you believe. And so you have to ask yourself this. You have to teach your children, you have to ask your children this question and instill values in them. I mean, I'm looking at our program and it is horrible. It's despicable. I'm seeing female rappers who are more strippers than they are musicians. Okay. They're doing 90% twerking and 10% rapping. I'm seeing television shows filled with baby mamas and baby fathers and women throwing drinks at each other and fighting like a circus. Okay, and I guess when there was one or two of those shows, it was entertaining, but now there's 10 and 20 of these shows, and there are no different worlds. There are no Cosby shows. There are no I mean, so many good shows. I wish it was one show I can't think of with the actress Erica I had on this show. I can't even remember the name of the show, but there basically what I'm just trying to say is that we're taking in a lot of trash these days because it's getting views. And so if it's getting views, that means that we are accepting these kind of things and we're enjoying these kind of things. And we have to be able to feed ourselves some goodness sometimes, and we can't always digest all this trash. And you have to ask yourself, just like when in grade school, sometimes a teacher would take us out and we would plant new trees, and we would say, you know, even though we knew we would go on to middle school and high school, and we wouldn't see these trees grow to their full potential. We knew that we planted a seed for something that would help the next generation. And I have to ask you, what seeds are we planting today that we can be proud of, that we can say is helping the next generation to survive? Because a lot of the things I'm seeing now, we're going down a bad road. And I'll have to say this, what a lot of old people, a lot of elders have said, that, you know, just because the world tell you it's right doesn't mean it's right. And sometimes you need to sort by yourself, because what everyone is doing isn't necessarily the right thing. And so we're in a period now more than ever where you must use your spiritual discernment. And I don't care what religion you is, you better be believing in something bigger than yourself, because you can't do this alone, like that young black lady said. And that's just not for black people either. I don't care who you are. You cannot navigate this world by yourself. Nobody can. A man on an island by himself will be driven to insanity. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me for this episode of My Brother's Keeper, Kyrie, Jaylen, and LeBron. I'm just hoping to myself I haven't forgotten anything. This episode wasn't meant to offend anyone. I just tried my best to give facts to show you what viewers are saying out here on this world wide web that we use now as our encyclopedia. And so I hope that you will join me next time. And again, like, comment, share, and I'll see you next time. Good night.